In May of 2005, Dr. Wayne Andrews became the 14th president of Morehead State University. In May of 2016, after 13 years, President Andrews announced his retirement for June 2017. For the next half hour, we'll sit down with Dr. and Mrs. Andrews as they reflect on their time at Morehead State University.
Well, it's an interesting story how we got started. You know, when I was a young man, right out of high school, I went in the Army for 4 years, came home from service, and enrolled in college. And midway through college, I guess my sophomore and junior year, I got a new advisor, and he had just graduated from West Virginia University with his doctoral degree, and I was a little older. Sue and I had been married for a year or two, and he said to me, so I really think you should, when you graduate, you should go on to graduate school, and I can get you started at West Virginia on a fellowship. And it was like, oh really? I was like, I was going to go to teach high school. And so that really began the journey into higher education, because I did go to West Virginia, I did my master's and doctorate there. And then when I graduated, it was, let's go on to teach at the university level. And so we went to Illinois State University in Normal, Illinois. We were there for 10 years. I was a faculty member there. And then had an opportunity to go into administration. Went to East Tennessee State University in 1987 as a department chair. And we stayed there 17 years. Sue taught public school. She's a reading specialist. And so it worked out. And then when this job became available, it was advertised in the fall of 2004, my president back at East Tennessee State said, you know, that's a job you ought to consider. And so that kind of started it. So, you know, we began here in January of 2005, and so we just finished 12 years. We're in year 13, and it's getting close to retirement time. I came into the job with a pretty fair understanding of what was going on in higher education, because I had been a vice president at East Tennessee State, both in student life for 4 or 5 years, and then I was a vice president for administration and chief operating officer for another 5 or 6 years, I guess. So I had a pretty broad understanding of what higher ed was all about. I didn't know a lot about Morehead State University, so I mean, I did my homework before I applied for the job, and I had a sense about the history, the mission of the institution, which I really like, similar to where I came from in East Tennessee, because we serve here an Appalachian community with a pretty defined service region, those kinds of things. But when I came to the campus, I spent the first 6 months really just talking to people. I visited with every department on campus, talked to faculty and staff. I walked through every building and got a sense about the place, you know, whom we represented. I traveled out in the region, met with school people, economic development folks. And then once I had a good sense about kind of where things were and what the needs were, then I began to put plans together. So by the end of that first year, we revised our strategic plan. We developed a housing master plan, because the housing on campus at that time needed to be refurbished pretty badly. A lot of our buildings needed attention, so we began to plan carefully in those first few years. And so I think fast forward to today, you can walk the campus and you can see pretty dramatic improvements. All of the old buildings that were in disrepair, that were not being used for anything that was particularly effective, we've taken all of those down. We just finished Andrews Hall, of course, last year, and that sits on a place where Regents and Wilson Hall used to be, the parking garage, the new dining commons, which will be coming on the summer, where Waterfield Hall used to be. ADUC is being renovated as we speak. We built Space Science, the Center for Health Education and Research. And so there was the results of planning show. And I think that's, you know, the thing that we were able to do well was you say to our folks all the time, plan the work and then work the plan. And that has paid off. And it was all about the students. It was for improving things for the benefit of students. Sue and I were very pleased that the Board of Regents decided to name that hall in our honor. And that's a pretty big honor. And we really, really appreciate that. It's kind of humbling, because I sit in meetings when they talk about Andrews Hall. I'm just sitting there as a participant. It's kind of like, yeah, that's got my name on it. And that's a pretty nice feeling. But for me, it's a testament to what we wanted to do for students, to make sure that they had really high-quality housing. I'm hopeful down the road, as we reevaluate the housing master plan, that where Butler and Cooper are now, eventually there might be another, maybe a smaller version of Andrews Hall there, and that would really complete all the housing that needs to be built on this campus, I would think, well into the 21st century. But it's a pretty special feeling. I don't see.
It's great. It really is. You know, I'm very proud to be included in that. I just kind of overwhelmed, actually. Think that it's going to stand there for several years to come, and it'll outlive us.
Unless we live to be really old.
Well, as we go into a presidential transition, I think it's nice to look back in the rearview mirror and see how far we've gone. And the Andrews have given us their heart and soul over the last 13 years. We've made tremendous progress in a lot of different areas. When you look around this campus and alumni come back to the campus now, it's very, very different. It's modern, it's contemporary. We've offered the students an awful lot of what they wanted. Safe housing, good infrastructure for computer technology, safe campus, and lots of activities. So I'd like to extend my thanks to the Andrews for all they've done for us, and I wish them the very best as they head on out for the next phase of their life.
I would say overall I've had a good experience. I also will say that he's been one of the presidents that will come in to our lunches in ADUC and eat with us, and I think that has a lot to say when he wants to interact with his own students.
Lord, what fools these mortals be.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? I have always depended on the kindness of strangers.
It never gets old, huh?
Nope.
It kind of makes you wanna...
Breaking the song?
Yup. I love the sunset.
I love Eagle Lake.
I love the forest. I love when eagles play.
I love the campus!
And all its lights and sounds.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
I love philosophy.
We love diversity. I love English.
And all its weird words.
I love the music.
And all its melodies. Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
Boom-de-yada, boom-de-yada.
I love fraternities.
I love sororities.
I love to draw things.
And all the athletes.
I love Moorhead.
It's such a pretty place.
Boom-de-yada, 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 boom-de-yada.
My personal interaction with President Andrews was when we had the Martin Luther King breakfast in Lexington. He just basically welcomed me in and just let me know that if I needed anything, that he was always there.
I tend to keep my own schedule, but I have a lot of activities scheduled in that have to do with community, university, and so forth and so on. But it took a little getting used to. When I first moved into this house, I felt like I'd moved to the middle of New York City because we'd always kind of lived out in the country. But after about 3 weeks, I didn't hear anything. I just really became used to everything that was going on campus, and just didn't hear students walking by or anything else. I was just kind of doing my own thing. But it's been great in that we've met a lot of really nice people. We've had the opportunity to be involved with a lot of great students. The students here are as good, if not better, than anywhere we have been. They're very polite, they're hardworking, and I just think the world of them.
Probably the most important things for me are when students come back and say nice things about the university, that the changes they've seen. Because we graduated our first class in May of 2005, so that's 12 years ago. So now we're seeing students coming back that are a decade away from the place. They're married, they have children. They come back and they're amazed at what's happened here, and that's a good feeling. And then for the other thing that's really important to us is the alumni. We've traveled all over Kentucky, all over the country really. We've met alumni every place we go. And the alums have a really, really fond memory of Morehead State University. This place for 130 years now has transformed the lives of 66,000 alums, and it was a really, really important place in their lives. And these are people that have gone on to lead corporations, that have, you know, done very, very well as doctors and lawyers and business professionals and the titans of industry, if you will. And so the university has really supported the region very well, but beyond the region also.
And I'm a sports fan, I really am. And I really enjoy watching our students participate in various sports. I'm particularly a basketball fan. And I tend to keep up with our graduates to see what they're doing, if they're coaching, if they're playing professional basketball, whatever they're doing. I'm interested in it, I want to know. And I'm so pleased to meet up with them again and hear about what's happening in their life. And that's really special.
Dr. Eaglin and his wife Bonnie started the gala probably, well, when we came 12 years ago, it had been going for 6 or 7 years, I think.
It was in the mid-90s, maybe.
Yeah, and so one of the things they said to us as we came and they were leaving is, we hope you'll keep the gala going. And they started it as a way to do something really kind of upscale in Morehead, because there wasn't an event like that in town. So it was kind of a black tie, tuxedo, formal dress for women, upscale program show and all that, and we have really enjoyed it. We have had some terrific shows, the food's great, and it's really about celebrating the success of alums and donors, people that have contributed a lot to the university. We try to do a nice job thanking them and celebrating with them, and I've enjoyed that a lot.
And we've got so much talent on campus. You know, we've just got a wealth of talent, and we need to bring it out and let everybody see it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, but our theater and dance folks, our traditional music people, our regular music people, we have some really, really talented students. And so that's been a lot of fun for us. As you know, we like to go to events. We like to go to plays on campus. We like to attend the recitals, and we go about as much as we can go, you know, without falling asleep in the chair. And so we'll probably miss that. This has been an amazing place for us to devote the very best years of our professional lives. Because when you think about it, this year I'm finishing my 40th year in higher education. I started in May of 1977 when we went out to Illinois. It was actually in July, I guess. So we're finishing 40 years. That's a long career. And these last 12 years here have been amazing years. The pinnacle of a career really here. So it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience for us.
And always interesting. There's always something around the corner that's very interesting and very new and something to learn about and so forth. Like our space science program, there's always something interesting on the horizon.
I think for me it's that, you know, we worked hard at trying to learn people, because I think the business that we're in, it's really a people business. It's all about relationships. And so we have tried really hard to demonstrate our caring and concern for the people that we represent here. This job is interesting because you represent not only the current student body, the current faculty and staff, but all those that have gone before and those that you're hoping to attract as future Eagles. And so I want them to know how much we care about them, even as we go into retirement. We have many, many friends we've made since we have been here, some of whom we may never see again, but hopefully folks will come out to visit us in our waning years as well, and we'll keep those relationships going. Well, there's no question in my mind that if you think about higher education in the United States today, there's declining support for higher education federally with budgets in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. You know, we've had a budget cut every year since I've been here. So that's the biggest challenge, has been the financial challenge. In fact, someone said to me a couple of years ago, you know, gosh, given all things you've been able to accomplish with your team since you've been here, imagine what you could have done if you had some money to work with. Well, we had some money, but most of it is money that you provided as students, right? Every residence hall we renovated with money that we borrowed because you were going to pay it back by living in residence halls and those types of things. So it's been the financial aspect is the most challenging thing for us. And you know, the current administration, is not as supportive of higher education as I would like them to be. There's this attitude, I think, in government today that we can just cut their budgets and they'll figure out how to get it done and it'll be just fine. They'll be more efficient and effective. There's a point at which, being more efficient means you really have to get rid of more people and more programs. And I don't think that's how you build a strong higher ed entity. And the other part of that is, I've preached this all the time I've been here, higher ed's not the problem, it's the solution to problems. If we want to lift people up and help them have better lives, educate them. If we want to build a stronger economy based on economic development, educate them. If we want people to stay here and go back home into their home communities, which many of our students want to do, educate them and help them create jobs and opportunities. So I think the financial challenges for me have been the most challenging. And it wears on people too. I mean, it's just year in and year out we've had to deal with that. That's been a struggle.
Good evening and welcome to News Center.
On behalf of everyone here at News Center, we would like to thank you, President Andrews, for a job well done serving Morehead State the past 13 years.
Dude, where you been out all day?
Breckenridge Hall.
What's so cool about Breckenridge Hall?
President Andrews was always really sweet. He always made a point to say hi. That was my experience because on a bad day, it feels good when someone smiles at you and just asks you how you're doing.
Good luck on retirement. I hope you all enjoy it. If you go to a beach, please get a tan for me. Enjoy the waves. You all deserve it. I'm going to miss your smiling faces because I will be getting my master's here, so I will miss your smiling faces and you're warm welcome.
My hope and aspiration for them is that they will have a wonderful experience here. Come in and embrace the community. Get to know the people. Get to understand the history of this great place and what it's meant to the region, and help move the university forward in the 21st century. There's a foundation here to be built on. That's how I felt when we came. The previous president, Dr. Eaglin, did a nice job here for 13 years, and I was able to build on the foundation he left behind. And my advice to the new president is, learn where the foundation is and what's good and solid, build on that. And he will bring his own creative ideas about things that he will see or hear about the need to change, and then lend support to those things so he can put his stamp on the important things.
Enjoy the experience. It goes by very quickly.
And you know, the First Lady's role is really, really important. And I admire Sue for the way she's approached the job. People do these jobs differently. So we've been around a lot of presidents in our 40 years and have observed others in the role. But a First Lady brings a lot of, can bring a lot of dignity to the office, because She travels in different circles than I do many times. She interacts with the community in different ways than I do. And yet she and I are elbow to elbow in a lot of things. You know, we are in some situations the face of the university. When people know Morehead today, they know it because of us out in Lexington or Cincinnati or San Francisco, if that's where we're traveling, because we're the face at that time. And so it's a really important role. And you know, you have to have enough ego to go, but you don't want to have so much ego that gets in the way of getting to know people and forming good relationships. And Sue does a great job of that. I think the thing that sustains you in this work, finishing 12 years in a presidency is a big deal today. The average president in America today serves 5 to 6 years. So we've more than doubled the national average. And it's not because we're extraordinary people, it's because we've really enjoyed the work. We've been serious about it. There's nothing I like better than walking down a 3rd Street Eats, or on occasion we'll go to the Alumni Tower in the evening and sit with students and just talking to young people about what's going on in their lives. You know, how's Morehead State working for you? Who's your favorite teacher? What class are you struggling with now, or what's really good? And to me, that's the best part of the whole day, when I get to talk to students. A lot of the other work we do is just slogging through the business side of the enterprise, but really it's about the students that makes it special. And I don't think you can fake that. I think you have to genuinely feel that. And I think we've tried to live that because we believe in it. You know, we will miss the students more than anything here, I promise you that.
I first met President Andrews when I was interning at a local bank, and he was one of the big reasons I thought I could definitely see myself attending Morehead State University. There's definitely a sense of community there. And while being a student at Morehead State University, I've had the opportunity to work with President Andrews and the administration and get to know them, and they really value their students. And President Andrews and his wife Sue, they will be greatly missed at this university. They have such strong values and leadership, and they really care about the students. So best wishes to both of them.
Dude, we've been out all day.
Breckenridge Hall.
What's so cool about Breckenridge Hall?
I work with MSU TV in the Convergent Media department here on campus, and I've gotten the opportunity to interview President Andrews on more than one occasion. The first time was 2 or 3 years ago. He was super nice, and when the interview was done, he just sat and talked to me about, you know, what my plans were for the future, what I wanted to do, how school was going. And every time I've met him, it's been the same. He always talks to me afterwards, and you can really tell that he cares a lot about the students and a lot
about the university itself, and I think we're really going to miss that. So I wish him and Mrs. Andrews the best in their retirement.
Well, one part of the answer, of course, is age and stage. You know, I'll be 69 years old in September, and when I have my birthday, Sue's a lot older than I am. She's already 69. She just turned 69.
Couple months.
Yeah, we born the same year. But so part of it is that, you know, you get to a stage in life when you realize, you look around, and you realize, you know, none of us are promised tomorrow. We don't know how many good years we'll have. Our daughter Jill has 2 children. She lives in Nashville. She's a singer-songwriter. We love our grandkids. We really, it sounds cliche, but we really want to spend time with our kids and grandkids. We love them. Our son Josh is a police officer, lives in Pennsylvania, and we want to get over. We don't get there very often. It's just a little too far to go. So we want to do that. And then while we've traveled, we've enjoyed ourselves. We've deferred a lot of things because of this kind of work. You know, we've really put the university first in our priorities these last 12 years. And so Sue's been very active in genealogy. She has some places she wants to visit.
I want to go visit my roots.
She wants to do her roots, and so she's got a list of places. And it's her turn. You know, she's been a great partner. She's been very supportive to say, you know, if this is what you think, this is what we'll do. And she's been a willing participant. I kind of look at it now like it's her turn to say, okay, Wayne, let's go. We're going to go to wherever she wants to go, Scotland or Ireland or Alaska, Sweden, and we'll do that for a while. And then, you know, I hope we'll be blessed with good health. We're in good health now. We take good care of ourselves. And, you know, maybe we'll have 10 or 15 good years in retirement to come back and cheer for the Eagles and, you know, get excited and all those things. Yeah, well, you know, what's next is so important. A friend of mine, I was talking to a guy here a while ago, and I said, you know, I'm not sure what the next chapter is. And he said, don't go for a chapter, go for an encore. I thought, well, that's interesting. You know, he said, what's the encore? I don't know what the encore is, really. Right now, I think what we both want is rest. I think we want to get to a place where we get through, because the last few months are going to be really busy. It's already started to amp up. I think we want to get to a place we'll look forward to where we can just sit and rest. But neither one of us are going to, we're not people that sit around on the couch and, you know, watch TV and eat bonbons. You know, we don't do that. So, you know, what are we going to do next? I've got hobbies, I've got interests. I'm a people guy. Sue is more, I'm a type A and she's a type B. So she's perfectly happy, you know, with a schedule where she reads during the day and she does the things she enjoys doing. She's comfortable with that. I'm not quite as comfortable that way, so it'll be interesting to see. You know,
He's out riding his bike with a gang of guys at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, so
and just runs through the whole day.
So I'll need to, I think we're both going to need to be adjusted. I'm a hobby guy. I like woodworking and I repair antique clocks. That's why all these clocks around the house. And Sue said she's going to put a lock on the outside of the shop so that, you know, she controls when I can come out. I don't know how that's going to work, so we'll see. But, you know, hopefully, though, what I want to do, what I want to continue to do, and I think this is true, Sue, as well, I want to continue to do something that's going to make a difference for other people. People have helped us our whole professional lives. We've had important mentors and friends and others that have kind of pushed us along or pulled us along or encouraged us. I want to continue to do that. So our grandson goes to a really nice school in Nashville. And so I've suggested to my daughter, you know, maybe we get into it in ways, maybe I'll volunteer one day. We can work with little kids. They like to do hobby things. You know, I can help them, whatever it is. We can do some leather work or we'll carve some, I don't know what it is, who knows. But so maybe that's an outlet. Or Habitat for Humanity. I love building, so maybe I'll build houses for a while. And Sue mentioned the bike riding. You know, last year I rode 2,000 miles on my bicycle, the year before 2,700. This year I've only gone 200 miles since January. I'm really slacking. So I need to get on the saddle and get going.